Good evening. Will you please join us in saying the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to viewing the School Board of Trustees, the School Town Speedway meeting for May, what is today, 12th. We'll be operating from a 13-item agenda tonight, the first item of which is to approve the minutes of the March 10th meeting. Have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the meetings from March 10th, 2020.
Wonderful. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thanks, Bill. So those of you watching, this is a little choppy and a little slow because I'm watching to see whose voice pops up on a Zoom screen. And so bear with us, and I apologize for that. That's what's happening, though. Having a motion and a second, all in favor of approving the minutes for the March 10th, 2020 board meeting. We're gonna do this by a roll call. And so when I call your name, give me a yes or no. Debbie?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Luke?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. So that is a 5-0. The second item is to approve the minutes of the April 14th, 2020 meeting. Can I have a motion for that?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 14th, 2020 meeting.
Thanks, Debbie. And a second?
I'll second that.
Thanks, Luke. And again, all in favor of approving the April meeting minutes indicate yes or no when I call your name. Debbie?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Luke?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. And that is also a 5-0 vote. The third item on our agenda is to approve the resolution authorizing temporary transfer from the self-insurance fund to the operating referendum tax levy fund.
Thank you. It appears that we will not get our normal draw from the state from property taxes, which typically happens later in June or late June. With everything that's going on right now, we predict that it's going to be later when we get our property taxes. So we're being told that we're going to receive this later, and Speedway does have a self-insurance fund for this reason that we can borrow from ourselves and transfer it back to our self-insurance fund when we get our payment. This will maintain our cash flow through June and the summer. So my recommendation is that we approve the resolution authorizing temporary transfer from self-insurance fund to operating referendum tax levy fund.
I have a motion on that, please.
I move that we approve the resolution to temporarily transfer funds from the self-insurance fund to the operating referendum fund for cash flow purposes.
Wonderful. Do I have a second, please?
And I'll second that.
Thanks, Tom. Do we have any discussion on this? You know, this is I'll make a comment that this is another instance of, of things that have been done in the past when there wasn't a clear purpose necessarily, but the creation of a safety net that is really going to be a good thing for us in this current situation, which of course no one would have anticipated. Again, I'll do a roll call on a vote for this. All in favor indicate by saying yes when I call your name, or no if not. Debbie?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Luke?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. That's 5-0. The fourth item on the agenda is a similar situation when we need to look at approving a resolution authorizing a temporary transfer to the self-insurance fund from the self-insurance fund to the operations fund.
Thank you. We get two pulls for two different funds, the operating or the referendum fund, and the other one is the operations fund that we've had from the beginning of time, with the education operations being our two major funds. So along with the referendum fund, the operations fund is funded by the property taxes. This approval allows a corporation to pay bills and salaries. Like the above item, we'll pay back the self-insurance fund when we receive the payment from the state, hopefully later this year.
So again, I'd like a motion on that, please.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the resolution authorizing the temporary transfer from the self-insurance fund to the operations fund.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Debbie. Again, is there discussion on that? Okay. Again, by roll call, indicate your yes or no vote, please. Debbie,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Luke,
Yes.
and I also vote yes. So that passes 5-0. The fifth item on the agenda is to approve agreement with Speedway Police Department.
The recommendation is to approve the agreement with the Speedway Police Department for the school resource officer. This agreement is enclosed and there's no change from the previous agreement.
I'd like
That's
Like
great,
to-
Debbie.
like to make a motion to approve the agreement with the Speedway Police Department as presented.
Wonderful. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Tom. Do we have discussion on this? Okay, then again, by roll call, indicate your yes or no vote, please. Debbie,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Luke,
Yes.
and I also vote yes. The sixth item on the agenda is to approve paid lunch equity agreement for 2021.
This is a great item here on our agenda today, and my recommendation is to approve the paid lunch equity agreement for the 2021 school year. Entering this agreement exempts the school corporation from a federal requirement to increase lunch prices because the program maintains a positive cash balance. Most schools don't have this luxury. We're still in the positive. So the execution of this form was required by the end of April. And I signed this form understanding that your approval was necessary in May to make this valid. In summary, I'm seeking your retroactive approval of my endorsement to maintain lunch prices of no increases from earlier last month.
Wonderful. What's the board's pleasure?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the paid lunch equity agreement for the school year 2021.
Thanks, Bill. Can I have a second?
I'd like to second that.
Thanks, Luke. Is there any discussion on this? And then again, by roll call, indicate your yes or no vote. Debbie,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Luke,
Yes.
and I also vote yes. That's 5-0. The next item on the agenda is the presentation of the athletic handbook for the 2021 school year.
The proposed athletic handbook was reviewed by Brian Avery, our athletic director, and the high school team. There are no changes from the 2021 year. The recommendation changes are all routine with dates, names, etc.
And is this we're presenting it. Is
there any discussion on
Yeah,
that?
is there,
We
does,
can vote on it right now.
do we have discussion on the handbook, on your review of the handbook?
Not that anybody knows what this fall is going to be. but
Well, and that was the only thing I was going to say is that, are we anticipating what might need to go into the handbook, given who knows what's happening with athletics in the fall?
So status quo from last year's, we can come back to the table if we need to change something.
Yeah,
I can say the handbook is kind of like the student parent handbook. It's gone over every year to make improvements. We made some improvements last year. When they went through it this year, there was nothing that needed to be changed as of right now.
can we approve it? Why
so-
can't we approve it?
We can move ahead.
If there's interest, since there weren't changes and since we don't have any concerns, I think we could entertain a motion to just approve the handbook, subject to, the need for, for things that are totally new and different, given the unforeseen circumstances that we're in, to be brought back to us later in the summer. If someone feels comfortable with that. Does anybody feel comfortable with that?
Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead. Tom does.
I'll make a motion that we accept the athletic handbook for 2021 as printed, with the caveat that may be necessary to make changes later due to the virus situation.
Perfect.
I will second that, Laura.
Thank you, Debbie. So again, by roll call vote, indicate your yes or no. Debbie?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Luke?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. So, great. Then the next item on the agenda is to approve continued participation in the Advanced Placement Teacher Investment Program associated with the University of Notre Dame.
Thank you. The recommendation is to continue our affiliation with the Advanced Placement Teacher Incentive Program with the University of Notre Dame. Our affiliation provides our teachers with the latest information and professional development available. Our students' continued success in the program is the best evidence of its values.
What's the board's pleasure on this?
I move that we approve the continued participation in the Advanced Placement Teacher Investment Program.
Thank you, Luke. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Wonderful. Thank you. Any discussion on this? I think that the superintendent is exactly right, that, the evidence of our students' success with the AP program is just phenomenal. I was recently talking with the parent of a freshman in college, and we were talking about how much, thousands of dollars that the family had saved because of the AP classes their daughter was able to take here at Speedway High School. It's just an amazing program. So, okay, hearing no other discussion, we'll go ahead with a roll call vote. Please indicate your yes or no when I call your name. Debbie?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Luke?
Yes.
And I also vote yes. The ninth item on the agenda is a report regarding the textbook and supply fees for the 2021 school year.
Last board meeting, we approved our reading adoption for the elementary, junior high, and high school levels. We take those books and we decide the fee that needs to be charged for those and put it into a document that you have in your packet, so that you have an awareness of what it's going to cost each one of our students at each grade level. We anticipate this going up a lot because we actually have readopted the language arts series for 1 year. So actually we kept it for almost 12 years. So we anticipate it go up a lot. And actually, as you can see, in some cases, it actually went down at some grade levels. And this is in the elementary level. So you can see what the textbook fees will be for our elementary students. At the junior high level, they would vary according to classes, but it was anticipated with the new language arts series at the junior high level that it would go up about $10 to $15 a student, and about the same thing at our high school level. So I would ask that you approve the textbook fees as presented.
What's the board's pleasure on this?
I'll make a motion to approve the book and supply fees as presented for 2021.
Thank you, Debbie. Is there a second?
I will second that.
Is that Bill?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Thanks. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote. Again, indicate your yes or no when I call your name. Debbie,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Luke,
Yes.
and I also vote yes. The 10th item on the agenda is to acknowledge the grants received of $154,219.17. And we are always excited and grateful for those grants. And the 11th item is the personnel report.
There are 3 items on the personnel report and 1 non-voting item this evening. There is, for employment, there's 2 people that we would recommend to employ. One is Kennedy Bracken. Kennedy Bracken is an elementary teacher who comes to us with 2 years experience and was highly recommended. The second is Jordan DiAgostino, who is going to help us with speech and language. She's a speech language pathologist and will help us with our pre-K program. The resignation that we have listed is Allison McKay, and Allison McKay is our high school language arts and English as a second language person. A non-action personnel item is our corporation food service manager position. Rhonda Jones, if you remember, submitted her notice of retirement after many years of service to Speedway Schools in the cafeteria. And Speedway Schools have been working with Airmark and has then transitioned this position, the corporation food service manager, to an Airmark position. This move will save us money without changing the quality of services we have with our food service. So after posting and interviewing, Airmark and Speedway Schools has hired Ryan Hahn to be the corporation food service manager. Again, not a voting item, just one of those we want to make you aware of. So the 3 items on there are 2 employment and a resignation, and I would ask that you approve the personnel report as presented.
I'll move that we accept the recommendation of administration to accept the personnel report as given.
Thank you, Tom. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is that Luke?
Yes.
Thank you. Any discussion? Then again, we'll take the roll call vote. Please indicate yes or no when I call your name. Debbie,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Luke,
Yes.
and I also vote yes. Do we obviously have no visitors. Do we have any other business? We do not have any other business. Then with that, we will retire for me to sign some claims.
They will be laid out on the table in my office after tonight. So if anybody wants to sign off.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Thanks so much. Okay.